In the past, we've covered some pretty niche football leagues, but I think the second tier of Irish football might be the nichiest. However, to me, the lesser known is more interesting. So let's check out the League of Ireland First Division grounds. Yeah, the second tier is called the First Division. Athlone Town Stadium, Athlone Town. There are plenty of grounds out there that have a stand on just one side of the field. This one looks just a little different. It almost looks unfinished, due to there being no buildings of any sort on the other three sides. Not even some trees or anything. Oh no, I spoke too soon. There is a mound of earth over on the north. I believe the official name for it is the Bank of Ireland Northern Terrace. Okay then. No, to be fair, the facilities in the one and only stand are actually pretty modern, and it's a nice enough ground overall. Carlisle Grounds, Bray Wanderers. This ground opened way back in 1862 as a cricket and archery club. It's important not to confuse that with cricket archery, which is only popular in the west of Ireland. Anyway, it's claimed to be the oldest stadium in Ireland, although, as you might expect, that claim is disputed. Despite that long history, there are actually plans to turn this ground into a housing development, in order to fund a new stadium. I'm not sure how those plans are coming along. I think the club have been struggling financially in recent years. St. Coleman's Park, Cove Ramblers. This is yet another ground that is just a stone's throw from the sea or inlet or river, estuary, boating pond, harbour, swamp, bayou, fjord, large puddle, reservoir. Yeah, I think I've covered myself there. Due to the layout of the surrounding streets, each stand is slightly angled. It's most noticeable on the uncovered terrace along the northern side of the ground. That tapers upwards from left to right. I don't mind that, it adds a bit of character. And yeah, overall I suppose this is a nice little ground. Situated on the banks of the River Finn is Finn Park, home of Finn Harps. It's a little surprising that Finn Harps were in the Premier Division just last year, because this ground is in pretty poor condition. However, the main reason for that is that the club is planning on building a new stadium at a different site, so you can understand why they wouldn't want to pump money into it, given that they want to destroy it eventually. It might look a little rough around the edges, but at least the ground isn't boring. The main stand has a mix of terracing and seating, which you don't see every day. The rest of the ground is uncovered terracing though. Eamon Deasy Park, Galway United. This stadium is situated in an area of Galway called Terryland, and I don't know why, but that just made me chuckle. The ground itself was actually formerly named Terryland Park, but was renamed after the former Ireland international shortly after his passing. This is probably one of the more advanced stadiums in this league. Most of the capacity is coming from the covered seating of the only two stands. Other than that, this little building is kinda interesting, as is the artwork over on the other side. Mount Hawke Park, part of a larger sports complex owned by the Kerry District League, is home to a brand new club called Kerry FC. The stadium was revamped slightly prior to their arrival. New green and white seats were added, probably some other stuff was added, maybe some weeding was done, I don't know. What I do know is that they certainly didn't need to cut the grass, because it's obviously synthetic. As far as I know, there is no red grass found in nature. It's actually the smallest stadium in the league, which I guess is quite fitting for the youngest team. Bishopsgate, Longford Town. Bishopsgate does sound like it could be a long-held name for a ground that started out as just a field that sat behind a church or something. But no, Bishopsgate is actually just the title sponsor. I think it's a logistics company. They also appear on the club's shirt. Anyway, although this doesn't quite have the largest capacity in the league, it does have the most seats, because it's an all-seater, which is a bit of an oddity in this league. Wait, no, mini terrace spotted. I guess that's the designated area for those with restless leg syndrome.
When you tell people you've got restless leg syndrome, I don't think they understand what it's like. They don't take you seriously, and sometimes they laugh at you. but it's as serious as it gets. I tried to go to sleep one night, and then all of a sudden I get the urge to move my legs about. This insatiable urge got so strong that I ran out of my house and into oncoming traffic. Thankfully, it was a Tesla, and I'm a white man, so it was able to spot me and brake just in time. But you could be speaking to a dead man right now.
Markets Field, Treaty United. Up until about a decade ago, this place doubled as a greyhound racing venue. Thankfully, the dogs were let out. By whom remains a mystery, famously. The stadium was redeveloped into a rectangular stadium after the dogs left. This main stand, which was here in the greyhound days, is pretty interesting. For one, it's a little bit off-centre, and secondly, the roof is concrete. It might not be the most beautiful ground, but it's always nice to have something like a cathedral in the backdrop. RSC, Waterford. RSC stands for Regional Sports Centre, as you can see there in the title card. And I can see why they shorten it. That's a lot of extra effort for very little reward. This does have the largest capacity in the league. It can fit a whopping 63 more people in it than Bishopsgate. And unlike Markets Field, it has kept the track, as you can see. However, they did install this blue one about a decade ago in order to match the very blue looking stands. And obviously this one is not for greyhounds. It's a decent venue, but that is quite a distance between the stands and the field. Ferry Carrick Park, Wexford. The only seating in the house is coming from a bare bones, almost temporary looking stand with plenty of exposed steel beams on display. But the fact that it's covered by a purple roof makes up for all its shortcomings. Come to think of it, it's a similar story with Barney the dinosaur and how he's often given a pass for his long history of insurance fraud and public nudity, simply because he's purple. Oh, I said that stand was temporary looking, that is because it is actually a permanent temporary stand. I do overall still like this ground though. So there you have it, an interesting variety of grounds. My favourite of which would have to be Eamon Deacy Park. That wall of artwork was a nice touch. If you enjoyed the video, please consider subscribing. And as always, thanks for watching, have a good one.